What's going on, guys? It's Randy with G4 Outdoors. Thanks for sticking around another episode. Rigidhorse was gracious enough to send us out some products to test and review. These are LED running lights. Have Andy in the back guy recording his own video. I don't even know what he's doing. So anyway, they sent us a 20-inch and a 24-inch. It might be 18 and 20 of them. I'll have to measure those out. So we got two of them, and we're going to decide on which one we want to go on. We can either go on number 1, or we can go on number 2. So I'm pretty sure we're going to go with the larger one because that's what he wants on his truck. One is aesthetically pleasing, the other one's a little bit beefier pleasing. How do you beefy please? I don't know. But hey, stick around. We're going to put these on. Here we go. Spent the night in a half the cage. Couldn't wait to get back on stage. Now I'm alright. Woke me up a little appetite for a whole lot of guitars, girls, green grass, and guns. So Rigidhorse sent us out these two LED bars. One is a 16 and the other one is a 22-inch.
And if you guys are interested in getting any of these products, we are going to throw some links up in the description so you can check those out.
This one here is actually 22 inches in overall length, but the actual lighting portion is 22 for 20 inches. I'm not going to complain much about that. That's just advertising and whatnot. So anyway, we're going with the bigger one. We already have holes here that would have fit the 16-inch really good, but this truck wants the bigger one, so we're going to do that. And in order to do that, we're going to have to find center, drill some holes out here where they're supposed to be. So let's start off and do that. These Milwaukee tape measures are pretty awesome, guys. So the overall length in the middle here is 28. So what you do with that is you take 28, divide it by 2. Never do math, live on YouTube. Find your center and make a mark there. So the holes for the bolts on there was 23 1/4. So you want to half that, comes out to 11 5/8. You want to mark that there at 11 5/8 and on the other side at 11 5/8. And that way you have your center mark, and then you have the measurements out to the sides, which hopefully equals 23 1/4. We're right on.
Half of an inch off?
So now that we have this centered up where we want it, we're going to take the brackets from the lights and put them on here. And this is where we're going to run into a problem. The bolt goes down through here, but now we have to come up from the bottom with the nut. The biggest drill bit that we had was only a 1/2 inch. So we're, So we're going to have a real, sharp. So we're going to have a really hard time getting up in here to put the nut onto the bottom of that bolt. So we're going to have to find some way to get a magnet up in there to hold a nut in there in place or something to get this started.
6 hours later.
Now, as you can see, it's dark outside, and we spent all that time just putting these brackets on. This is not a one-size-fits-all. This is mount it where you want it, mount it how you have to, and you'll have to come up with your own way to put those nuts and bolts in there and drill your own holes. So, you know, we just had to wiggle nuts around and get them all in there. So we got those where they should be. Now we're going to put the light in there, start tightening everything up, and then we'll get back to the wiring.
Now we just bolt up it.
All right, so I know I said that was all we got to do, but on this, there is adjustments for this to go side to side, and there's also an adjustment so that you can tilt this up and down. But what there's not an adjustment for is for this thing to pivot side to side. so that you can throw your light off to one direction or the other. So what we had to do is ream out this hole right here so that we can have some front and back adjustment. That way, if you want to point your light more to the left, you can do that, or to the right. So as far as the mounts on this, that's something that I'd like to see Rigidhorse kind of incorporate into these brackets. And so anyways, that's all I got on that. Let's get to the wiring now. So the wiring on this really couldn't be any simpler. You have plug and play here for the lights. You have a red and black wire coming out of it. Ran through grommets all the way up here. You have an inducer or a reducer for power. I don't know which one it's called. For LED lighting, that gets mounted to the wall. You have a fuse in here. I don't know what size that is. And you have your positive and negative leads right here that you just hook up to your battery. You also have a long cord right here, which leads to your power switch. It's got adhesive tape on the back, a real positive clicky button on it. So even if you'll take that off, I'm gonna hook the positive and negative up and make sure that this thing's working properly.
And you'll see right here, you get LED indications, red meaning off, green meaning on. So let's go ahead and turn that on.
So what we're going to do is just snake the wire from the light up through any of the holes that we can find. We're going to zip tie them into places that are secure. Once we get our battery terminals mounted up, we're going to run the clicky switch to turn it on and off. We're going to run it against the back firewall,
Clicky switch,
down through a grommet underneath the brake booster, and mount it somewhere on the inside. This is all going to be different on every vehicle just because of the way they're all set up. Some batteries are on this side, some are on this side. So just be sure and mount everything up properly. Zip tie the wires so that they're very secure. You don't want these things wobbling around, rubbing up against metal pieces, because you will get hot spots in your wires, meaning you're going to rub some rubber off of it and you're going to come into exposed wires. So we're going to get this all wrapped up, and I will come back after that and show you how we did that.
3 hours later.
But I'll take you through here and show you how this got all wired up. So you have your light here, a power cord coming off of this side. It's ran up through here. A little bit of rigging going on here. Then we come up here and we got some wire tied up behind here. We have our positive, negative on there. That's grounded. And here's a, you know, I wish they would have sent just an extra foot of cable for the toggle switch for the inside. But
that's just going to be on this truck though. That's the hard part about it, because on your Toyota Tacoma, you're going to have more than enough wire. Truck's not as wide, stuff like that. I think they did the best they could for what they had.
They did, and it's
and I'm sure we could have done something different to make it a little better, but
it's not model specific either. But
no.
So we got that running down into the grommet for the cab. On-off toggle switch right there, very handy and accessible. I like that it has a light on it for on or off. And so if we would have been a little more knowledgeable on what we're doing, if we would have been doing this day in and day out, this wouldn't have been a trouble at all. This would have been a breeze. It is a breeze. It's
honestly, this was super easy. It was just the drilling the new holes and trying to figure out how the hell am I going to hold these bolts up in there to get this going. That was the problem we were having. But yeah, I mean, when you want to make stuff your own, you got to do that stuff sometimes, and you'll always figure out a way. You just got to start the process, and you'll figure out that way.
Yeah, so we had some hiccups of our own lack of knowledge, lack of tools, I should say. So anyway, that's all wrapped up. Let's get some more footage up in here. So guys, like I say, thanks for stopping by and watching another episode of G4 Outdoors. Thanks Rigidhorse on Amazon for supplying these LED lights. They are amazing, as you can see in the footage. I really appreciate them sending them out for us to test and demo out. I'd also like to give a shout out to Milwaukee for sending us some tools to work with. That's awfully nice of them. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for stopping G4 Outdoors. Stick around for some more awesome videos, please. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'm out.